So I'll record the whole thing. All right, so first things first. The way you want to approach a guide is in several different steps. So in this case, do you know how to use Blue Sky Bio? Have you ever played with it at all?
Yes.
As a viewer.
Yeah.
All right, good. So that's very helpful. So I'm going to share my screen. If I could figure out how to do this. Very good.
There you go.
All right, so you see my screen, right? All right.
Mhm.
So I'm going to launch Blue Sky Bio. Stop me if anything. Oh wait, no, I don't want to cancel that. All right.
You're gonna go surgical guides.
Yeah, we're going to go surgical guides. It's just still loading. But... So surgical guide, import CT scan.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go find it. I got to figure out where I put yours. I kind of forgot.
It was on your desktop.
Oh, it was. Yeah, okay. Desktop. There you go. Hit OK and import it. Right? You know how to do that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So then, just basic viewer. I would make sure.
At least we got nice bone because I did the extraction and grab. Well, it was like a cantilever.
Yeah, the bone looks really good. There's one thing we'll talk about when we get there, but it's just about like implant selection. But all right, so basically, kind of adjust things a little bit.
You just stay the arch, right? Okay.
All right, so that's step one. Excuse me. Let me just drink some water. So
you think we should put in implants on the bottom too?
What's that?
Next, we'll do the implants on the bottom too.
Yeah, well, actually, the one thing you're not getting done here is just the nerve, detecting the nerve. But
oh no, because we're doing upper arch. You have a lower, but I'm saying we're doing the upper first, and then we're doing
absolutely.
We're doing 8 more crowns and veneers on the other teeth when we do these implants.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so now that you have this open, the next step that you have to think about is you want to import your models.
Okay.
Now, in this case, the upper is really the most important one. The
right.
lower, it's good to have it in relation so you can see where the teeth are going to be, blah, 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 but it's a lot less important, especially in this case where there's barely any occlusion. So you're going to go to File. I'm going to go slowly. File, Import STL model.
Okay.
It's on the desktop. You're going to go to upper.
Okay. Now, if you were doing all of them, you'd have to do each one separately?
Well, I'm going to show you. So here's the thing. All right. The great thing about
Thank you, Esther. Yeah. Okay.
Tell me when you're ready. You good?
I'm listening.
All right. The good thing about this software is it's come a long way since I've been using it.
Right.
We're going to hit OK, and you're going to see what's going to happen. And it never used to be this way, but I'll tell you what to do if it doesn't happen. So we're going to say it's the maxilla, and we're going to hit OK, and let's watch what happens. Alignment in progress. All right, boom. So now the model and the CT scan are fused. It did it automatically.
Got it.
Now, if you got to understand, if a patient has a lot of crowns, implants, or maybe, it doesn't always get it right. And it's super important that you make sure that it got it right. If it didn't get it right, then you would go into manual mode. And let's pretend it didn't get it, right?
Okay.
All right, so let's just pretend it didn't get it. Like, let's say it thinks that's the way it's supposed to be, right? And that's how the computer calculated. You're like, that is not right. All right. So what you would do is you would come up here to points. Like this is good if the patient has a lot of crowns and it just can't, there's too much scatter on the CAT scan. You hit points and you'll see what happens here. All right, so now on the left is the CT, on the right is the STL, is the STL file. So what you're gonna do is you're going to find some points here. So
it's like trios when you line it up, when you mark,
yeah, it's
the
exact same thing. So you basically, you pick like a couple points. You basically say like here, 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 and here. And then you want to come around here. I mean, it's hard, but you would basically say that would go here, here, here. It's just giving it some orientation. All right, let's see if that works. So I hit OK. And yeah, it didn't do a good job, but you can take your time and you can do it right. I'm going to back it up. Okay, let's try to keep things simple today. All right, so this is how we imported it. All right, this is the computer, what the computer said, how these all fit together. All right, if I make the screen big here. Okay, so next step. All right, you imported your CAT scan. You did surgical guide mode, you imported your CAT scan, you imported your STL file for the arch that you're doing the surgical guide. Now it's very important that you check and make sure the computer did it right, because if it's off, the whole case is off. So this is how I check. First, I just kind of look around and rotate, and I don't know, that looks pretty darn good to me, right? If you use the slider here, you could actually, if you use the slider, you can kind of make the CT scan come into focus and out of focus. All right, so that's one way to check, but it's not that accurate. The better way to check is you go to View, you go to Perspective, F5, so MPR. I'm not sure what that stands for, to be honest with you, but it gives you this view. It's just different views. So this view is a nice way to see if the scan was accurate. Okay. So let's go to this corner here. The green line is the model, and if you go through the slices in every angle, you want to kind of see that green line matches up with where the teeth are. So if I go really slowly, you see how everything kind of matches up nicely, right? Look how beautiful those canines are, right? Everything looks good. So that view looks perfect. Okay. This view looks perfect. Look, everything is just beautifully lined up. You see that? Okay, so this guide is this fusion of the STL is perfect with the CAT scan. So that step is now done. Okay. Next step. All right, when you're doing guided surgery.
Wait, sorry, give me 1 second. Mary.
Sure.
Mary. En el frente, en la parte ahí, necesito remover el rug y para sweep.
¿En dónde?
En el frente, donde están a los pacientes esperar.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Thank you. Yeah.
Muy bueno español. I'm very impressed. So anyway, okay, that joke bombed. So go back, and my main view that I like to look at is F4. See perspectives. All right. I like implant tangential 5. That's like, I always go back to that one. That's me. I like that as my main view. So when you click on that, it just gives you a lot of good information. Okay. So here's the next step, right? So that's on. Whenever you're doing a guided surgery, what is the main, which way do you do it? Do you think in terms of where the—
I've never did a guided surgery.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there just to kind of make you think a little bit. So if you're placing implants, you're basically looking for where the best bone is. You're trying to keep the implants a good distance from the teeth and the other implants. But if you're doing guided surgery, the good thing with the software is you don't do that. The first thing you do is you put crowns in there and you try to plan the prosthesis.
Right.
All right. And so in order to do that, first things first, okay, because this will trip you up every now and then. You got to go to module, surgical guide, and make sure it's in advanced mode. For whatever reason.
Hold on 1 second. I don't know who's there. Hold on. Okay, yeah.
All right, so always.
Show me, where'd you go to advanced mode?
All right, so you go to module.
Okay, right, it's always on
Different
advanced.
modules like denture, kind of. Go to surgical guide
Right,
and go to advanced. And
okay.
I'll show you later why that matters. But there are hidden things that if it's not on advanced, you'll spend an hour.
You won't see, yeah, I had that before.
Right.
Right.
So that's important. So now let's do the teeth. Okay. So there's different ways to do it, but I like to just go to this tooth here. You see add tooth.
Okay,
Okay. Add the tooth. You're gonna really get this when you do it yourself, right? When you look over the video, but this is kind of breaking it down for you. So in order to add the teeth, you basically look, what are we adding? 2 premolars here, right on top, right there. We're doing left maxillary premolars and those 2. You can pick small, medium, large. You can resize them, it doesn't really matter. And then you basically just hit okay. Okay. And then what you want to do is drop them around the space where we're working. Okay, give or take. Okay, now let's go into model view. So we're going to expand this view here. Okay, and everything is a surface, right? So if you see on the corner, there's something called the surfaces panel.
Mhm.
And if you hit that, you'll see right now we only have one surface, the upper jaw scan STL. If I hit, if it's visible, if I uncheck it, it goes away.
Got it.
If I check it, it comes back. And right now we just have that one surface. Actually, there's one other thing I have to show you. So what you want to do with the teeth, first of all, let's bring in the other model. I forgot to do that. File, import STL. Okay, desktop. And now we want to bring in the lower. Okay. Mandibular and hit OK. Now here's the one thing I already noticed. Your upper and your lower, for whatever reason, they're not, the bite is off, right? I know that this is not the patient's bite. All right. I'm going to get rid of the CT scan. All right, because it's clouding our field. We don't need to look at that right now. We're just looking at the teeth and the models. So we're going to go to surfaces. And right here, CT surfaces.
Right.
Click that off. Gone. We don't need it right now. All right.
Okay.
You see how the bite's off?
Okay. So is that when you put in the bite now?
Well, no, the bite shouldn't be off. When you export the 2 models, you got to recheck your settings because there's definitely a way to export it where the bite is in relation and then you don't have to go through any of this stuff. But what you can do is you can go to, these are all panels. These are called panels. And you go to model manipulation. You want to manipulate the models. Okay. I know there's a lot of information here, but you would basically want to align the upper and the lower. But you know what? In this case, I'm just gonna skip this because it's not that important. There's a huge space here, and it's not really the teeth aren't occluding anything. So the bite isn't that important in this case. But you should look in your settings on your scanner. There's you exported it with 4 files. There should be a way
Okay.
to just do two where the models are in relation with each other. You don't have to, it'll just import them automatically.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay,
You gotta do it. All right. You following me so far?
yes.
All right, good. So let's get rid of the blue model. We don't really need this right now. So I'm going to go to surfaces and I'm going to make it invisible. See, now there's two surfaces, the upper and the lower. I'm going to make it invisible. Let's work on the digital wax up. All right. So this is always the next step. So first you import everything, make sure everything's fused together. Then you throw in the teeth. Okay. Because that's number one. We care about the implants last. Okay. So all you're doing here is basically moving the teeth, getting them, in the position you like, rotating them, just playing with it. You can make them, you could shrink them, you can get really, specific. I don't go too crazy with this step. I just kind of get them where I think that they would be good. This one maybe is a little wide, right? And you just kind of play with it. All right. And then you just kind of rotate it. Right, that looks pretty good. This one, that looks pretty good. Give or take. What do you think? Does that look all right?
Yeah.
Good enough. Right? It's not perfect, but that's okay. Okay. So now the teeth are in. Now it's time to put in implants in relation to the teeth where we like the teeth. All right. If you had the lower model, if you had occluding teeth, you would also look at the teeth in relation to the lower, but we'll do on the next case. On this case, let's just do it. All right.
It's the KISS rule now.
Keep it simple, stupid. Exactly. So we like those teeth. We're going to lock the teeth. All right. Locking. When you like something, lock it.
What do you
So,
lock?
all right. So the right side is all your panels. So there's a tooth list, right? Like there's like surfaces, which is all your surfaces.
Right.
There's implant list, which is going to be where your implants are when you add them. You have your tooth list, which is your teeth. Implant validation, we'll look at that later. That's just settings. Most of this is automatic. You have your nerve list. If you're doing a lower, you got to detect the nerve and all that stuff. You have your guide panel, which is where we're going to make the guide.
Right.
You have model manipulation, which is where the STL files, the intraoral scans, you could manipulate them, move them around. You can add articulating pins. Like don't get all crazy now. We don't need to consider that stuff. And then screenshots if you want to take screenshots. So you go to the tooth list and you see this little lock up here. Okay. If you hit lock, then they won't move. So now they're in
so don't by mistake like move them around either.
With implant, once you get that implant in that perfect position, lock it. Because even another thing, you can accidentally, like sometimes you're busy and you accidentally move something and you don't even realize you moved it. And that can be pretty bad. So when you like it, get into the habit of locking it. All right. So step 2 is done. So the teeth are now in. Any questions so far?
Nope.
No, pretty good, right? Okay, so now it's time to add the implants. And then the last step is make the guide. It's really not that complicated. You got the teeth, you got the implants that you're adding, and then you have the guide that you're making, and then you just export it. It's really not that complicated. So now here's the question. All right, so you have BioHorizon, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back to surfaces. I'm gonna make the original CT scan visible. We need it now. We need it now, right? Because we're gonna add implants. And I'm going back to my tangential 5 view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just like this view personally. I don't know why that's
okay.
All right. So let me move that. All right. So now let's chuck some implants in there. Now, the one thing I noticed, like as an aside, just about this case, is that it's not a huge space, right? It looks like a pretty big space, but when you really start putting implants in there, you got to remember all the rules, you know? You got to be 1.5 from the teeth next to it. You got to be 3 millimeters
between it.
There's not a ton of space here, all right? But we could do it. But I need to know what, okay. So now you're going to go on top and you're going to hit add implant, self-explanatory. Okay. So the system, these are all the systems.
Right.
Your bio horizons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Tapered internal laser lock.
Oh, which one is that? Tapered internal laser.
One.
This
Yeah.
one?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's good because they come in narrower sizes. That's good. You need narrower implants to get 2 of them in this space.
Just have to make sure which ones. I'll make sure order. Right.
Exactly. All right. So your platform options are 3, which is mini, right? That's really small.
Right.
My smallest with MIS is a 3.2. So 3 is really small. And then it jumps up to 3.5, 4.5, and 5.7.
Right.
Right. 5.7 is going to be a molar. 4.5, maybe it's pretty big. So you're looking at using one of those first 2, right? And then you got all your lengths here. All right. So let's just start with the first one. What implant do you have in mind? Just we'll see if it works. If you let's
Can we do 2 3.5s? I doubt we'll make it, right?
Let's try. I've already done it, so I already know the answer, but let's try 2 3.5s, right? So 3.5, let's do 3.5 by 9. Let's just start with 3.5 by 9.
Okay.
Okay. The implant is oriented in the right direction. So you know you're dealing with the maxilla. Okay. Abutment. Okay. I like to add an abutment in the software only for one reason.
Orientation of parallelism.
Yes, for parallelism. And it kind of shows you where the emergence from the tissue is going to be. So it's just nice. I make it really long. It doesn't really matter. So I go to custom abutment and I'll do length. I'll do length like 15. It really makes no difference. I just like it to be long because it really, you just want to see parallelism and where it's coming out of the tissue. Okay. So that's the implant we're selecting is 3.5 by 9. The abutment is BS. You don't really, none of this matters. You just want to make a nice long thing coming out of that implant. That's all you need. Guide tube, right? You notice you can't change these settings. That's good. That means the software already has the settings for the guide for your system. I used to use a system where I had to manually import everything. It was annoying. All right. All you have to do here is check show guide tube in preview. You want the guide tube. All right.
Got it.
So you got the implant, you have the abutment, and you have the guide tube. Okay. Nope, you don't need pins. You just need those 3 parts.
Got it.
All right, let's hit OK. And we're going to just put it right here. But Bio Horizons guide, it gives you warnings, like, the lawyers make them put all these warnings up and everything. So let's try to come up with a good position that puts the implant in the bone at a good depth, that also centers it within the crowns that we already know we like, right?
Got it.
So now you just start to play, right? So basically, wait, it should be a little more like that. So far, so good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. So I like to come to this. This is my favorite view. I don't even know what it's called, but when you move this slider, you rotate around the implant, right? So it's a rotational view.
So it will show you if the implant's in the bone from all angles.
You could see every angle around the implant. This view is also good because it gives you a couple slices, but this is my favorite. So what I'll do here, right, is I'll start to rotate it until I see buccal lingual, right? And then I'll just kind of, I'll get it in position. This is great. You can kind of tilt it like this, you know, you kind of play with it. All right, so it's coming. So now you can see, you see why the abutment's good to have, because if you go to this view and you get rid of the CT scan, you could see right now, that's
You're basically seeing where the bone, okay.
yeah, what you're doing now is you're seeing like the screw hole. If you're doing a screw retain, I always try to do screw retain.
The screw retain.
Yeah, so now you basically know, because it's guided, so it's precise, the screw hole is going to be, the access hole is going to be on the occlusal, a little towards the buccal. All right, so you could tweak it, but that's good. If it's angled in properly and it's coming out the facial, you know, before you even do the surgery, you're not going to be able to do screw retain. You know, sometimes it's where the best bone is and you have no choice. The angle's off, not great. So we can tweak that a little bit. You know, now you just kind of play with things. This view is kind of pointless. You really want to get the CT scan back. All right, because what matters is, are we in the bone properly? So let's go to this view, right, and just kind of rotate around. It's doable. This, you're a little tight here, but not terrible. Tilt it a little more. Do you like it maybe a little too deep? You know,
I like to sync them.
yeah, I like to sync them too. So let's sync this one a little bit. As far as the placement,
I covered a patient today, one of my, it was like a delta, but like the one next to it is so bad, like the crown, that I'm like, listen, I have to redo that crown there. Whatever.
So, all right, so that looks all right. But first of all, look how much space we have up here. I would go longer, right?
I was about to say I would go to at least at minimum 10.5.
I think let's step it up to a 10.5. So you come over to the right and you go to the implant list. And this is the only implant we have right now. All right. I can lock it. I can, right now, all it's showing is the implant, the abutment, but not the guide tube, right? We don't need it right now. That's all you need that for is when you're making the guide. So get rid of it. It just gets in your way until that point. So if you come down here and you hit replace, you can replace the implant without changing the position. All right. So let's step it up. Let's step it up to a 10.5. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you could go longer if you want, you know, that's personal preference. What would be the next step up? I don't know that you need it, but you could do a 12. I mean, I'd probably do a 10.5 personally, but 12 looks good too. Either one. We're not going to finalize this plan today. We're just kind of learning, and then I'll let you look it over, and we're going to finalize it, you know, tomorrow or the next day. So let's step it down to a 10.5. All right. Wait, do I have a time limit here? Oh, I don't know.
You're fine, don't worry.
All right.
Yeah, an hour or 60 minutes or something. Yeah.
All right. All right. So let's say we like that. Okay. I don't know. So now here's the thing. A little close to this tooth here now. Go up here to your measuring tool.
Oh, they don't measure for you?
Well, it doesn't, it gives you warnings with the other implants, but not with the teeth. It doesn't tell you how far you are from the teeth. Okay. 1.5. Right? That's not bad. I mean, that's pretty much what you want. right there is pretty good. All right, so that's all doable. Maybe just move it over a little bit. All right, but that's doable. All right, and then last, let me get rid of this thing. Where's my toolbar?
Yeah, but that implant's pretty deep.
What? Yeah, no,
Implant.
I would raise it up a bit. I'm just kind of doing it just to show you. But
Got it.
when before I make the guide, I just sit there and I tweak it. I look at it. Sometimes I even do it the next day if the surgery. So maybe raise it up a little bit. Right. And then, rotate it. Maybe move it a little further away from that. Maybe move it a little further away from that other tooth, from the canine. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's say we like that. Let's say that's perfect. Maybe it's deep, maybe it's for now, let's just say we like it, and then you can tweak it another time. I like this view, the occlusal view, because now what I do is I'll launch this view. For now, the teeth are kind of getting in our way. Let's go to the teeth panel. And let's make that go away, right? So I just unchecked it, okay? This zoom thing is annoying me. Okay. So now I like to run through this view slowly, right? So let's get, okay, so see the yellow? That's your abutment, which is a little bit to the lingual. So in my opinion, it's kind of, all right. And as we go down, boom, we got the implant. All right, it's too lingual. Right, it's too much towards the palatal. So you gotta play with it. Do you agree? It's
yeah.
Right, it's a little close. And then you just go down with it. It's not hitting any teeth. It's inside the bone. All right, so you want to play with the angle here, right? And boom, and then the sinus. So that looks pretty good, except the occlusal. I would tip it a little more, towards the buccal. All right. But for time's sake, let's just say we love it and it's perfect. All right. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to implant. We're going to lock it. Okay. Now we got to put another implant in there. So what you can do here is you can duplicate it or just go back to the add implant. 3.5 by, there's a couple things we're going to run into here. I'm going to show you. All right, go back to 9. All right, 10.5 is too long in this case. All right, so you plop that in there. All right, it already has, the abutment and everything. Just kind of play with it. All right, so now we're looking at this one. All right. I think that 9 is too long here. Right? Actually, let me ask you a question because I'm not familiar with this implant system. Is this smooth? Is the top part smooth?
Mm-hmm.
Does this stick out? Where do you want, are these bone level? These aren't bone level implants, right?
No, I do bone level.
Okay, so this
I'm
part,
gonna have that the crest of the ridge, but what I'll do is I'll drill and then I'll do it by hand, the last part to pop it a little.
but what I'm trying to say is the osseous crest, right? Forget the sinus for now. Is that how the implant should be? Like, let's say the osseous crest is right here.
Yeah, that's what I do.
All right, so you sink it. So this is meant to go does this have little grooves on it? It's rough. It's not smooth, it's rough. All right,
I
so
think it's rough. Yeah, it's rough.
all right, so
you know what? I have a failed one right here. 1 second.
it's definitely rough. If you're sinking
No,
it,
it's
it's rough.
smooth.
It's smooth.
Maybe that's the reason I have a problem.
Talk to the BioHorizons rep and see if these are bone level implants, right? Because it's possible this collar, if it's smooth, is supposed to be above the osseous crest, right? Maybe you don't get attachment there. I don't know the implant system. That's something you should call the rep about.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him. I have it down already.
Because
Okay.
if this is bone level, like let's say this is bone level, right?
We're gonna lose attachment right there. Got it.
Yeah, let's say this is bone level. This is in the sinus. I don't like that at all. You can go up to the sinus, but this is in the sinus,
Right.
right? So now, well, maybe we have a little room here. I mean, it's really close for comfort. I don't know. That's in the sinus as far as I'm concerned. I don't know that I would want to go that. I mean, this is too long. You're in the sinus, right?
Right.
But if they're not bone level, then you could use a 9 easily.
Yeah, but then my impression, you'll see the metal, no?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the implant system. Okay.
I'm saying, wouldn't you think then when I make the,
Well, no, because this part is still way below the gum line. I don't know. I don't know the implant system, right? I'm assuming they're bone level. All right. So I'm assuming that this is how it has to be placed, where the occlusal part of the implant is at the osseous crest.
Right.
Or below, not above. Above is a failure, right? It'll fail. So in this case, like that would be fine, but look right here. That's not, this isn't buried, this part, right? So you have to move it up. But then you're in the sinus. So you have to either, so in this case, I think an 8 would be better. Like, I don't see that as an option, but let's look at it. Let's say we like this except for that part, right? Let's kind of like look this over real quick. How far is the implant from the molar? A little close for comfort, as far as I'm concerned, right? Down here, you're fine, right? You're almost 3 millimeters. Here, 1.23 is a little, are you there?
yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you see me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you need to go with at least one narrower implant. I don't think you can get 2, 3, 5s here. You said that before we even got to this point. I think you gotta go with at least 1.3 and 1.35, or 1 or 2 3s. But in my opinion, I think you're gonna have to change one of these implants
And go narrower.
Yeah, definitely. I would. Which one? Let's do this one for now. Again, we're just learning here. This isn't your final treatment plan. We'll do that. But so let's. All right. Let's right. Don't you think that's a little close for comfort? It says 1.23. Plus, you don't know. I mean, it's a little blurry, right? The molar could be like more like that.
Right.
All right. So let's change that implant. So we go see now you have 2 implants here. You're following me, right?
Yeah.
All right. The 2 implants. When you click on them, they highlight. So this is the one that's next to the molar, right? The one in the sinus. So let's change that one. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to replace. What was it again? Tapered internal, laser lock. It's not tissue level.
I don't think so. Check all my implants now, but yeah.
Yeah, tissue level will be a totally different thing. But so hit 3. Now we have a narrower implant. Right? This is not a tissue level implant. You're supposed to sync these. All right. But the problem here, plus you have a 3/4, right? Which gives you another 1/10 of a millimeter. But the problem here is that the smallest size is still a 9. Right?
Yeah.
See, my implants, I can do an 8, a 6.
Let me see what else. Let me see what else.
Like to me, a 9's too long here. So we change it to a 3, which is good. I need an 8, you know?
Let me see. Maybe we'll use a different company then.
I'm gonna stretch. Are you looking to see what kind of implants you have, or we're?
Oh, should I go check? Okay, hold on.
I mean, it's no big deal. You can check. I'm gonna take a quick break.
Okay, give me a second.
We're almost done.
Okay, one second. No, we don't have that stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, let me see. Okay, I'll get it. I can't, the floor is wet.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's finish the mechanics of the case and make the guide. And then
Mhm.
tomorrow, we're gonna make a list of things you need to find out. What size implants are there? Is there a different BioHorizon with an 8? Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna call the rep tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Okay, or we'll figure it out, but 9 is just a millimeter too long as far as I'm concerned. All right.
Got it.
So come up here. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm getting rid of the teeth. Like if we look at the teeth here, once I'm done with the teeth, I delete them personally, but that's just me, right? So let's look at the implants in relation to the teeth. Let's get rid of the CT scan because we don't need that. That's only for the bone. Okay. And that's not good, right?
No.
No, that's awful. So oh, Control Z. All right. So this one will have to tilt a little bit. When I'm done, I'm going to send you this file so you can play with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What, I do I import it straight to this guy?
Yeah. And then all of our information is saved. Right. So now's the time. Okay. So how's the parallelism? Not bad. Right? Now it's starting to look pretty good. What do you think?
Good. I mean, I have to, where the bone is, could we place an implant if there's
Yeah.
nowhere?
Well, now you got to go back to the bone. Anytime you do this, now you got to go back to the bone, and then you go back to this, and then you keep tweaking, you keep looking at the different angles, you know? I think that looks pretty good. So now let's go back to the bone. All right. So let's rotate each implant. Let's start with this one. Oh, visible. You can name them like by tooth number, which is a good idea. So let's look at this one. So we're rotating around it. All right. Other than being in the sinus, I think this is the 3. We went down a size. I think it's great now, right? You're right. You're pretty far from that molar, right? Yeah, you got enough room there. Now, implant to implant, it's tight.
Should we do 3s?
Yeah, but look how much room you have here, right? So right now you have this much room. Oh wait, no, this is the 3. So we can move the 3 over. Look how much room we have, right? So, right. So you just got to keep playing with it, right? I think it looks pretty darn good. I think the parallelism looks good. I think you just got to tweak it a little this way and a little that way. And then if you think that the measurements are too close, then you make this one a 3. You want to make it a 3? Let's make it a 3. I think it's probably be better off as it, right? This one we made a 3. Wait, no, is this? Hold on, let me see. Go to the implant validation. Oh no, implant list. And if you click on this one, that is that's actually a 3.4 by 9. Oh, it's not even a 3, right? That's a 3. All right. But the 3 was only 10.5. So, I mean, you at this point, you're just playing around. You're tweaking it. You'll spend an hour, like the first time doing it, you can spend an hour and a half, I don't know, just until you get it perfectly. Play with the different implant sizes, you know, but let's go back. That's definitely not going to work. All right. So let's say we like this, and now it's time to make our guide. All right. That's perfect. Let's just say that's perfect. We'll save it. Oh, I haven't even saved this yet. All right, I'll save this so we have it. I haven't even saved it yet. All right. Any questions so far?
No.
No. Okay, good. So step 1, import everything. Fuse the models, make sure everything looks good. Most of that's automatic now. Just make sure it's good. Step 2, chuck some teeth in there and just start playing with the teeth. You do it with the, you do it with the tooth up here, and then you go to the tooth list, and you make changes if you need to. Step 3, add the implants, right? Add implant and just keep playing. Just keep looking different angles, right? This is my main view, tangential 5. That's what I like. Go to this view. See right here, we're over the sinus. So really, you just got to keep playing, right? You keep playing until you like the way the implants look. Like this looks pretty freaking good. This one you can even do longer,
Right.
clinical stuff, but it's pretty darn close. Okay, then come up here, right? And you could see, I mean, you could get away with this, right? Look how nicely it, okay, we're at the most apical point, and now we're going occlusal, right? You could see that the tip of this implant right here, it's obscured by that exclamation point. You could see it's in the sinus, so that's but boom, sinus is gone. You could sometimes just pack some bone up there. You could do a sinus lift. You basically can place the implant, just drill short, but that's a whole other thing. So okay, we like it. Done. Implants are done. Come to the implant list, lock them. All right. Now it's time to do the guide, which is really easy. All right. So now that we're at the guide stage, see how the implant is visible.
Yeah.
The abutment is visible, which really we don't even need anymore, but who cares? Now make the guide tube visible. All right, because it's time to make the guide. So make them visible. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the guide panel and hit. All right, so hold on. All right, so now we're back at our main view. All right. I'm trying to make this so not go like too fast. There's a lot to learn, but I'm trying to make it simple as an overview, for you. All right, let's get rid of the lower model. We don't need it. Go to surfaces and get rid of it. Right, it's there, but it's just not visible. That looks pretty darn good. I would tweak the angulation a little bit, but not a whole lot. All right. These guide tubes are compatible with your system.
Right.
They are the depth stoppers and the location. And when you make your guide, you need them to be present. All right. So now come over to the guide panel. This is called a scan appliance guide. You will never need that. Sometimes I'm drawn to that, but you don't need to do it. Right down here, you see how it says surgical guide?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's checked on mandible. Check maxilla and draw curve. Okay. Now, sometimes you'll get error messages. A collision has been detected between the guide tubes and the model. All right. That is something that you need to deal with. And basically what that means is that, hold on. What that means is that the guide tube down here, which you're going to see what that is in a second, is impinging on the tissue. You won't be able to do the implant. It's just, if that pops up, something's going on. You got to fix it. And I get that sometimes too. So go to draw curve. Okay. And then it says a collision has been detected between the guide tubes and the model. Resolve collision. Now here's where things get a little complicated. All right. Forget this for now, but this is something we have to talk to your rep about, right? You need to go over this is just, I'm teaching you how to make a guide. But when it comes to the drilling sequence,
Yeah, talk to the rep.
You got to talk to the rep. And if you read this box here, you see how it raised the tubes? You see how they're now up here and not down there? When you're drilling, all right, when you're drilling, your drill is now going to stop here as opposed to all the way down here.
We're gonna have to do math.
Your math is now your math has changed. Okay. And so this software will give you a drill guide, it'll tell you like how to do your drills, right? Usually it's pretty simple, unless you got to raise the stopper like this, then that kind of throws off the math, but we're not going to get into that today. That's something that you have to talk to the rep about. But software guide to raise by 7 millimeters. Final drill should now be used with a drilling depth of 28 millimeters, which quite frankly, I doubt you could even do that. You don't have a
How can your mouth open that wide?
you don't have a 28 millimeter drill. So why that's happening, I don't know. It has something to do with your system. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go back. Let's keep it simple. All right. And let's just leave it like that for now. If you printed this, if you make a guide from this and you print it, if you're doing a 9 millimeter implant, you need the 9 millimeter drill. It's 1-to-1. Once you start raising these guide tubes, you're messing with the math. All right. And sometimes I'll just print this and it'll work fine. All right. I had one time I got that warning. I printed 2. I did the math and the original one did not fit. So I'm glad I had a backup. In a case like this, I'd probably just print 2. Try to go with the original, but it's conceptual, and I'm confusing you. But so we're gonna draw the curve. All right, we're gonna make the guide, and it's really easy. You basically just hit Shift on your keyboard and just draw where you would like the guide to go. All right, I don't make them too big. I used to make these really big guides. It gets in your way, right? So I go like 1 or 2 teeth back. All right, so that looks pretty good, but what I would do is I would move this up. We don't need this that long. All right, and then you don't need this that long. I might even, no.
Yes.
Sure.
Sí.
¿Estos?
¿Qué? Toma. Para los niños, ¿no?
Ok.
Toma todo lo que tú quieras, ¿ok? Mañana no puedes, ¿sí?
No.
So, próxima semana yo no puedo, pero es posible en 2 semanas. Lo necesito mirar.
Ok,
Porque necesito un día. Si no puedes vir conmigo, tú vienes con mami para mi casa ahí.
Ok.
¿Ok? Gracias. Mañana no necesito porque no trabajar mañana.
Mañana miércoles, ok.
No necesita. En viernes y después de eso no necesito en domingo también porque yo fui a vacación.
Solo viernes.
Solo ven. Sí, gracias. Yeah.
All right, so I like to go like 1 or 2 teeth in front and 1 or 2 teeth behind. You don't need to go this far forward. I go like two teeth on either side should be fine. Right? It's personal preference. All right. Let's say we like that. We hit create surgical guide. And now it's going to make your guide.
La persona que trabaja en el bakery viene. Oh, great. Someone's calling my emergency line. Bye. Thank you.
All right. So now you got your guide. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
looking who.
You
my
want to take
emergency
that
line.
call? Do you have to take it?
No, I'm just looking who was. Oh, okay. No, it wasn't the emergency line. They went to the after hours first. So like, we'll see what the message is first before I pick up.
All right. I saved everything. All right. So
Got
now,
It looks like a holla.
what is it? Looks like I'm getting hungry too. You're killing me. So you're done. That's the whole thing. So now basically what you would do. So let's get rid of everything. So go to surfaces. Get rid of upper jaw. Go to implants. Implant list. Get rid of them. I'm just trying to show you what the guide looks like. You know, they're still there. I'm just kind of making them invisible. All right, get rid of that tooth. Doesn't
Oh
matter.
wow, what's so popular on my line tonight after hours? 6:22. What's going on?
So that's your
It's a
guide.
patient not in my system. Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh no, people are just calling. I'm like at 6:22 who's calling, but they said it's a patient who's not in my system. So I don't know.
Oh. All right. So this is your guide. This now gets 3D printed. This fits in the patient's mouth. These two holes will be where your drills go. You know, I don't want to dumb it down too much. You know this stuff, but this is where your keys and all that stuff goes. I don't know anything about the BioHorizons system, so that's for the rep. You know, you got to talk. You should talk to the rep about the drilling sequences and how to use those, because I don't know how to use them. And they're lined up with your implants. Okay. And all you would do at this point, let's say you're like, this is perfect. You just go
Right.
you just go back to the guide panel. You just hit save. And that's it. I'm not going to do it because it will use one of my credits. And as far as it goes, we're not 100% on this guide, right? We're not actually going to be using
Right. That's what I'm saying. I have to play.
But
with
here's
it.
the thing. Here's the thing. A couple quick things. If you export that and you decided that you need to change the guide, it only charges you once per case. You can export as many as you want.
Got it.
So that's good to know. Are you interested just to quickly see how I would print it, or we can do that another time?
We can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. And honestly, we don't need to be concerned with that right now. So that's the whole thing, basically.
Perfect. So let me figure out. Let me talk to my rep. I wrote it down. I'm going to speak to him tomorrow. So I don't want to call him now, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good, Perry. I'll send this over to you too, so you have to.
I got payday. I must have gotten 45 checks just now.
Too bad. Oh, that's good. Are they for you or for you?
They're insurance checks, but
Oh, beautiful.
I don't like EFT because I want to be on top of it, and I don't like if my staff like has to be on. Like I like to see the paperwork. I like to see that, not the log in every day. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. All right, perfect. I gotta pee.
All right, sounds good. Hopefully, there's a lot of information, but I'll help you through it. It's just the beginning for you.
Thank you.
Love
I
this.
really, really appreciate it.
You're gonna love it. All right, take care, Barry. Bye.
Bye.